Humans follow a rule when domesticating animals. Among animals with similar functions, ultimately only one type will be retained, the one that scores the highest in a comprehensive evaluation, e.g., the easiest to raise, the most economically beneficial, and so on. Welcome to subscribe to our channel. Both pet cats and pet dogs originally had multiple species domesticated by people in different regions for similar purposes. However, as global trade spread modern domestic cats and dogs to all parts of the world, other pet cat and pet dog species faded into extinction. The reason is simple. Domestic cats and dogs are unrivaled in their respective ecological niches, offering humans the highest returns on rearing them. Thus, they easily replace those similar native domesticated animals. Horses are no exception. For riding, horses, thanks to certain physiological advantages, are the most suitable for human riding and have easily supplanted all other animals with similar functions. So why are horses suited for human riding? A recent study published in the journal Science found that around 200 years ago, a mutation in a gene called GSDMC reshaped horses' vertebrae, improved their motor coordination, and enhanced limb strength. Why? This gene spread to all human domesticated horses in just a few short centuries afterward, a testament to its critical role in horse domestication. Nevertheless, some animals cannot be replaced by horses, specifically in regions with special geographical conditions where horses are unfit. Camels in deserts, and donkeys on mountainous and other harsh terrains fall into this category. Deer also inhabit terrains where horses cannot substitute them, and indeed, people in some areas have domesticated deer for riding. There were even attempts at forming deer cavalry in ancient times. The deer family Cervidae is a relatively large group within the class Mammalia, comprising approximately 56 species. Below are some common cervids, listed by body size. See if there is any cervid species suitable for your riding. Among all common riding animals, donkeys are the smallest, yet those suitable for human riding typically weigh around 250 kilograms. Therefore, to find deer fit for riding, we should at least choose species that can reach a weight of 250 kilograms. Currently, only 6 cervid species meet this criterion: moose, elk, Canadian mopedi, sambar deer, red deer, reindeer, and the David's deer, which barely qualifies with a maximum weight of just 220 kilograms. In fact, among these 6 species, reindeer is the only one truly widely used for riding. Moose has been the subject of multiple historical attempts at domestication for riding, while the other 4 have seen almost no such attempts. You will notice that both species live in extremely cold regions and environment where horses struggle to adapt, which is why they have the chance to be domesticated for riding by humans. In the frigid north, reindeer were once domesticated and used for riding by many ethnic groups, though this practice is now rare. The Southern people, a nomadic group living deep in the taiga in the far north of Kashgar province, Mongolia, are one of the few ethnic groups that still preserve the tradition of riding reindeer. As for riding moose, there is a well-known story. In the 17th century, Sweden was the hegemon of Northern Europe. At that time, King Charles XI attempted to train a moose cavalry. His reasoning was simple: horses struggle to move in deep snow and swamps, while moose can traverse such terrain with ease. Moreover, he firmly believed that the majestic moose could scare off enemy war horses. However, reality proved that moose make poor means of transportation. It is believed that King Charles XI did initially form a moose cavalry, but this unit proved utterly useless in war. Moose are timid creatures. At the outbreak of war, they would run uncontrollably into the forest instead of charging at the enemy. On the other hand, while the appearance of moose did frighten war horses, this also meant that the moose cavalry was incompatible with the kingdom's regular cavalry, hindering both training and warfare. More importantly, moose have extremely high dietary requirements. They refuse hay and only eat tender grass. This not only makes their rearing extremely costly, but also poses a huge logistical challenge in wartime. As a result, King Charles XI's moose cavalry ultimately came to nothing. Why have no attempts been made to ride the other 4 deer species? Putting aside whether these 4 species are physiologically capable of carrying humans and whether they have irreplaceable advantages over horses, domesticating them is in fact extremely difficult. Among the 6 deer species that can barely carry a human, only reindeer and David's deer are truly highly social animals. Moose are solitary, while the other 3 are facultatively social, living alone most of the time and gathering in groups like a feast only in specific seasons. Social behavior shapes an animal's temperament. Only social animals are easy to domesticate, and most animals domesticated by humans fall into this category, while solitary animals are generally difficult to tame. All 6 of these deer species are currently being raised by humans to some extent, but only reindeer has been successfully domesticated on a large scale. The others are not conventionally found animals. Their successful breeding has only become possible in modern times, thanks to the great advances in artificial insemination technology. You may wonder, David's deer is also social. So why is it not as easy to domesticate as reindeer? David's deer shares many traits with sambar deer, including extremely high requirements for food and environment. They are highly dependent on wetland habitat. This not only makes them hard to domesticate, but has even driven them to the brink of extinction. In fact, even if domesticated, David's deer and sambar deer would still be difficult to ride, one important reason being the danger they pose. They run in a spring-like manner as shown in the picture above. If you were riding on one's back, could you ensure you would not fall off? Most deer, including red deer, run in this way. Deer's running is essentially an adaptation to escape predators, and this bounding gait is far more effective for evasion. Horses run steadily because their gait is adapted for long-distance travel, which is also why they excel at endurance running, whereas deer are better suited for short sprints. Only the largest species, moose and elk, rarely engage in such erratic bounding. Moose has already been proven by history to be a poor riding animal. Elk, meanwhile, are easily spooked and have extremely low obedience. More fatally, when frightened, they will jump just like other deer, making riding them extremely dangerous. Native Americans attempted to domesticate elk thousands of years ago, but failed to fully tame them. They only raised them sporadically as a meat reserve, and there are no records of riding them whatsoever. Welcome to subscribe to our channel.